G'day, my name is Luke, better known as Mulch in the Australian Magic community. Today I thought I would do a Edge of Eternities modern ideas set review of sorts. The upcoming RC in Australia is modern, so I thought it'd be the most relevant thing to do. Let's get straight into it. We'll start it off with what I think is the most powerful card in the set. I'm gonna Quantum Riddler. Buy now. It's pretty crazy. The warp mechanic is quite good in modern. Generally, anything that lets you cast something with a high amount of value for cheap is right for abuse. The warp mechanic is no exception. Naturally, the first thing that comes to mind is like blinking them. The warp mechanic, you exile the card at end of turn, so if you blink it, you get to keep it. Ephemerate and Failure, very common in modern. You see where this is going, and obviously this works with many of the good warp cards in the set. Let's move on. Other abuse you can use is like Neoform, kind of like Birthing Pod effects, but Birthing Pod itself is banned in modern. Pyre of Heroes is kind of a tribal Birthing Pod. I've never seen anyone play that card, but I don't know, the options there. I had a look for Sphinxes and Dream Trawler came up. I don't know if that's a good card in modern, but it seems pretty good. Can't kill it. Yeah, should dominate the board. But yeah, Quantum Riddler's broken, in my opinion. Another card which I think is pretty good, I'm going to call it the second best card, as if I may be so bold, is Halia. Guided by Light. She's the rare 3-drop, not to be confused with the 5-drop uncommon. She triggers off herself when she enters, and artifacts and creatures as well, not just like a Soul Warden that triggers on only other creatures. So it's pretty easy to get to that critical 3 life to draw the card at end of turn. She's like in modern, there's so many cheap ways of making tokens and cheap artifacts, especially if you're playing artifact lands, and that can be hard to do, but there's lots of 0-cost artifacts as well. I can just imagine drawing a card every turn with her, and unless the opponent immediately has removal for her, you're going to get some value out of her for 1 mana. Let's look a bit more into what you can do. So maybe she has a home in red-white energy, like Ocelot Pride. She's going to trigger the Pride at end of turn because you gain life. Guide of Souls gains life by itself, which will trigger Halia, so you don't need as many things entering to get to that 3 life. And you've just got some other token generators like Ajani to get to the 3 life. So watch this space. I know like all the modern lists are pretty tight, like it's hard to squeeze in there, but at 1 mana, I don't know. Red-white Blink, Black-white Blink, Orzhov Blink is another natural home for her. They already have the Blink effects to make her a 3/3 permanently. Solitude costs 0 mana, and drawing extra cards fuels the Solitudes. Bowmasters triggering multiple times on Halia. The tools are there. She gains life, so not Amalia, Halia, it's going to be confusing if this deck takes off. But Halia's life gain trigger will get the trigger loop rolling with Amalia and Wildgrowth Walker. She's a 3-drop, so you can hit her off Collected Company. If that makes it into the modern Amalia combos, I presume it does. What else we got? She could find a home in Affinity. Like, Affinity is just overflowing with options. Like, people don't know whether they want a Jeskai Ascendancy combo, or whether they want a Kappa Cannoneer, Corey Steel Cutter. They don't even know if they want to be a control deck or an aggro deck. Halia is just another option. Notably, she's a legend for Mox Amber, which personally I've been on the lookout for another legend that doesn't cost double color, so you can play it turn 2 with a Urza's Saga. Very easy to trigger, lots of zeros as you can see. You're an Urza's Saga deck, so you've got like a random Lava Spur Boots, which gives haste for your warp creatures. It's small, but it's something. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up playing him in Affinity. Another warp creature, quite powerful, Pinnacle Emissary. Warp this in turn 1, drop all your 0-cost artifacts. You don't just have to play the 3 on screen. There's like, I don't know, maybe Chalice of the Void. I'm sure there's others. And once you get to a certain number of flying drones, notably they can't block, so it's not like Spectral Procession. It's like all aggressive. You could even like play Walking Ballista for 0 or whatever it is, just to get the extra drones out there. I think it's quite good. And you can utilize the drones in other ways. Cap Cannoneer Improvise is pretty good. And other payoffs like Arayo and Corey Steelcutter for playing lots of zeros. I could see it. Moving on to another warp card. I'm not an amulet player myself, but I did notice that Starfield Vocalist acts like a amulet clone for one turn, but in amulet time, that's all you need, one turn to kill them to win the game. And unlike Spelunking and Amulet Vigor, where if you have one of each, you don't get any stacking benefit, you will get the stacking benefit for Starfield Vocalist and an Amulet of Vigor. So, I don't know, perhaps there's something there. The blue mana might be tough. Amulet players can tell me if I'm right or wrong. And of course, it's going to trigger other things like Titans. So, next thing I noticed, Loading Zone. You can warp this in for 1 mana and just turbocharge your Arcbound Ravager for a turn. I haven't seen Hun scales around, but it can't be too far off playable. Like I played it years ago in Modern, so yeah, Arcbound Ravager. Each artifact you sack is going to give an extra count of the Ravager, and when you sack it to itself, you get double, not just one like you do with Hardened Scales. You get double. So I think it's yeah, you kill the same turn most of the time. There's an uncommon in the set to Scout for Survivors. It's probably not going to get played in Hardened Scales, but if you return the 0 cost X cost artifact dudes, they're going to live because they come in with counters on them, which is kind of nice. So the Chase Mythic of the set, in my opinion, Quantum Riddler is going to overtake Tezzeret in cost, but maybe Tezzeret finds a home in Basking Broodstale, Blade of the Bloodchief combo. It finds the Blade, it finds the Ballista if you already have infinite colorless mana. It finds Hate for decks that are faster than you, like Vexing Bauble on screen. So I can see it. It's kind of like a Saga number 5, except it takes up a spell slot, etc. But very powerful in other formats too. This one's pretty niche and minor, but Roving Actuator now turns Neoform, lets you sacrifice a 3-drop and effectively get a 5-drop. So you can sack your 3-drop, you lose the 3-drop, so you meet the Void Clause, and the Roving Actuator lets you flash back the Neoform for free, and cast it again and go get a 5-drop. Who knows if that's going to be relevant, like, I don't know, Karmic Guy, Kiki-Jiki combo. Probably not, but I thought I'd bring it up. Another one, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, Zu-Ifit. It gets back Death Shadow as 13/13, and obviously it doesn't have the neg ability to kill it, so it's pretty powerful. And Death Shadow is pretty easy to tutor up, especially with Ranger Captain of Eos. And there's a Agatha the Soul Cauldron. It's pretty good to give the ability with Zu-Ifit. There's some layering going on there with removing and bestowing abilities. So it's kind of out of the scope of this video and my understanding, to be honest, but I don't know, there's something there. I really like Cosmogoyf. I love that deck building challenge, and like you can get it huge and just kill them. It naturally pairs with Ketramos. They're both kind of control cards where you want to exile more cards over time, remove blockers, and survive. Like Serum Powder is the exciting one because it's 0 mana to make your things huge, but it's not really a control card, so I'm not sure if they're going to be compatible. And Demotic Bargain was another cool one I found, but it's probably too slow. But 13 cards, it's a lot. Maybe you go find a Solitude or something or a Sickening Shoal to exile their blocker for the Cosmogoyf. It'll get played eventually somewhere. Another home could be like Inverter of Truth makes Cosmogoyf huge, and Inverter of Truth combos with Thassa's Oracle. Maybe there's some kind of hybrid build there. Yeah, that's it. That's it for my modern ideas. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully I got your brewing brain working. And thanks a lot to MTG Bazaar. See you in the next video. Thanks, bye.